Okay. Well, it's interesting to note that throughout history, there's been a particular place on the planet that's been constantly called an abyss. Did you know that? Right, all throughout history, and even the people of their own country write about their own country, and they call it the abyss. Well, let's just have a look. Islamic scholars often refer to their own country of Arabia as the abyss. Abul al-Mawdudi, that's a name, I'm not sure if you can say it fast, who was one of these writers about Muhammad and his teachings, says that they came from Arabia, the abyss of darkness. Well, that's interesting. Why would someone write about their own teacher coming from a place of darkness? There's been a lot of other Arabian scholars who give light to this fact, or this understanding, that the reason it was called a place of darkness was not necessarily because of spiritual darkness, because they feel they've got all the truth, but because of educational darkness. You see, Babylon and Egypt and Jerusalem and Greece, they all had learning centres, education centres. And the Arabians saw their own country as in darkness. They didn't have the education. They were kept in the dark about a lot of things. And they wrote about this over and over again. And if you do a search on Google it, you'll find some information about that. That's all I'll say about that. So amidst this darkness, this smoke came out of the place where this abyss was. So obviously it's symbolic, because out of this darkness then came locusts. Now, what are these locusts? If it's symbolic, the locusts represent something. And I was quite amazed. I started looking at it. I thought, what are these locusts? And I started finding one text, and then it linked to another text, and another text, and there's tons of references out there. I've had to leave a lot out. Okay, let's see. All right, Judges 6:3-5. And so it was, when Israel had sown, that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them, and they encamped against them, and destroyed the increase of the earth, till thou come unto Gaza, and left no sustenance for Israel, neither sheep, nor ox, nor ass, for they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as, what's it say there? Grasshoppers. Okay, grasshoppers, for both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. Now, those of you who, if you look at the word grasshopper there that we just read, who's got a Bible that's got a little symbol there? Has it got a number 1 or a... Who's got... in Judges 6... Judges 6, 3-5. Now just look up the word grasshopper there. I want someone to, if they got a little reference there where it's got word next to the grasshoppers, I want you to see what it's saying, so there's no mistaking what it's talking about. Someone got it there? Okay, well, in my Bible it's had a little reference there, and it said grasshoppers. In the side margin it had locusts, right? Locusts. So there's a reference there that it's calling the Midianites locusts. Right. I'll just get my pages in order here. What else did you notice there? What were they writing in Judges 6? What were they writing? They had... Someone said, camels. Camels. Well, that's identified with the Arabian people. Okay, they're sort of animals of the desert. Okay, let's turn to Judges 7:12. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for a multitude, and their camels were without number, and they were the sand of the sea for multitude. Okay, so there was just that many of them. There were heaps of them everywhere. They couldn't even number them. And this is talking about when Gideon, remember the story of Gideon? How many men did Gideon need? 300 men. Against how many Amalekites? And there was heaps. Heaps. Right, 300 men. It's an interesting story. But that's how many there were. It says like the sand of the sea, like a plague of locusts, grasshoppers. As one traveller or explorer commenting on the locusts that appeared in the Middle East, his name was, oh man alive, I can't even say it, Nebuchadnezzar put it. Oh, technology. Oh, here we go, hang on. I'll read it out, the quote was up there. The swarms of these insects darken the air and appear at a distance like clouds of smoke. So already we're seeing that there's similar language being used between the smoke from the bottomless pit and locusts coming out with what people observed in the Middle East. Okay, and those of you who have lived on the farm, who's lived on farms here? We used to live out at Wedderburn, way up past Bendigo, and I remember seeing a plague of locusts once, and it seriously does look like clouds, black, everywhere. Couldn't even open your mouth, they'd be in them, and horrible. Anyway, so that's what the Bible says, this cloud, and out of this cloud came the locusts. There was just, the number of them was just that much. Okay, another interesting point about the locust is this, that in the Bedouin romance of Antar, the locust is introduced as the national emblem of the Ishmaelites. So not only does the Bible sort of give you clues that the number of these people were just like clouds of locusts, the people themselves even used locusts as their own national banner. Who were the Ishmaelites? Who was their father? It's pretty obvious. It's in the name. It was Ishmael. Okay. Locusts everywhere. Okay, what else? Onward and still onward, like swarms from a hive or flights of locusts darkening the land. It's not just talking about locusts here. Tribe after tribe issued forth and hastening northward spread in great masses to the east and to the west. So these locusts, or these people that appeared to be locusts, spread, and they just spread out everywhere. They spread. They were like sands of the sea, or a swarm of locusts. Okay. It's also interesting how the Bible uses language that's rather abstract to describe something that can be paralleled when you look at it in real life too. Oh, well, come on. Here we go. All right. Now here's a map showing the desert locust. The top one is the range of the desert locust, and you can see right from the end of Africa right across to India. It's where the locusts used to go. If we look at the bottom, in the purple areas, we can see the areas in purple is where the Ishmaelites, or the descendants of Ishmael, or what we'd call the Muslims, where they spread. Interesting. So these early Bible scholars, without the aid of Google or a laptop or anything like that, just using the knowledge that was in here and their knowledge of the Bible, were able to start putting things together and start to say, okay, we can identify this particular group of people with what the Bible says are locusts. Okay. Now that map is actually out of